I pulled this filter out of my AC last summer. Gray, caked, bent in the middle from being slammed back in too many times. I had been running it for, honestly, I don't know, 6 months, maybe 8. My electric bill that July was $312. The next month, after I replaced the filter with a $5 one from Home Depot, the bill dropped to $264. $48 from a $5 filter. The Department of Energy says a clogged filter increases HVAC energy use by up to 15%. I had been paying that tax every month for half a year. Stay with me on this one, because the part that surprised me wasn't the savings. It was finding out the expensive filter I almost bought to replace it would have made the problem worse. The average American household spends about $2,200 a year on energy. Roughly half of that goes to heating and cooling. So if your filter is dirty, you're throwing somewhere between $50 and $160 a year straight into the air, doing nothing. Now go look at the filter aisle at Home Depot. There's a $5 filter on the bottom shelf called HDX MERV 8, pleated, white cardboard frame. Right next to it, a Filtrete branded one, same size, 20 by 20 by 1, $22. For one filter. That's a 400% markup on the same piece of cardboard and fabric. And the cheap one is the one the engineers actually recommend for most homes. Here's why it actually works, and it's simpler than you think. Your AC has one job inside the house: pull warm air across a cold coil. The fan moves that air. The filter cleans it on the way through. When the filter clogs, the fan still tries to pull the same amount of air, but now it's pulling against a wall. The motor works harder. The system runs longer to reach the same temperature. Your electric meter spins faster. That's it. That's the entire mechanism. Now here's the part the filter aisle doesn't put on the box. There are 2 ways to choke airflow. The first way is letting the filter get dirty. That's the obvious one. The second way is using a filter that's too restrictive from day one. The MERV scale measures filtration. MERV 8 catches dust, lint, pollen, pet dander. Standard residential. MERV 13 is hospital grade. Catches viruses, bacteria, smoke particles. Sounds better, right? More expensive means cleaner air. Here's the problem. Most residential HVAC blowers are sized for MERV 8 to MERV 11. When you drop a MERV 13 filter in a system that wasn't designed for it, the fan has to work harder from the very first day. Same effect as a dirty filter, just baked in. A 3M engineering study found that on a typical residential system, the highest pressure drop filter, a fully loaded MERV 8, used about the same energy as the cleanest fiberglass filter. Translation? A clean, cheap filter is better than a dirty, expensive one. And for most homes, a clean, cheap filter is also better than a clean, premium one. All right, here's the build. Took me 4 minutes. Should take you about the same. You need 3 things. 1. Your filter size. Look at the existing filter written on the side. Mine is 20 by 20 by 1 inch. Yours might be 20 by 25 or 16 by 25. Write it down before you go to the store. 2. A 6-pack of MERV 8 pleated filters from Home Depot, the HDX house brand. Around $27 for 6. That's $4.50 per filter. 6 filters covers 18 months at 1 filter every 90 days. 3. A Sharpie. Pull the old filter out. Note the airflow arrow on the frame. It should be pointing toward the blower, not away from it. Air goes in through the printed side, out through the arrow side. Drop the new one in, arrow facing the same direction. On the cardboard edge of the new filter, write today's date with the Sharpie. That's the whole build. The date matters because you cannot trust yourself to remember. I tried, I failed. I bought the Sharpie after the 3rd time I pulled out a filter and couldn't tell if it had been in there 4 months or 11. Set a reminder on your phone for 90 days from now, or 60 if you have pets, or 30 if you have shedding pets and you live somewhere dusty. Now here's the part I was most curious about. Let's see what the numbers say. I ran 2 tests. Test 1, energy draw. I clipped a kilowatt-style energy monitor onto the AC condenser circuit. Ran the system for a full cooling cycle with the old, gray, 6-month-old filter still in place. 72 minutes of runtime to bring the house from 78 degrees down to 72. Swapped in a fresh $5 MERV8. Same starting temperature, same thermostat setting, same outdoor conditions within 2 degrees. 58 minutes of runtime, 14 minutes shorter. Same result. Test 2. Airflow at the vent. I used a cheap anemometer, a vane meter, the kind that costs about $30 on Amazon. Old filter, the master bedroom vent read 320 feet per minute. New filter, 410 feet per minute. That's a 28% increase in airflow from swapping a piece of pleated paper. I didn't expect it to be that big either. The bedroom that used to take an hour to cool down was at thermostat temperature in 35 minutes. 2 things before you try this, because I'd rather you hear them from me. First, if your AC has been running with a heavily clogged filter for months, you might already have damage. Frozen coil, strained blower motor, dust caked on the evaporator. A new filter will not undo that. If your system is still struggling after a clean filter and a week of normal operation, get a tech out before assuming the filter fixed it. Second, the MERV rating thing cuts both ways. If you have severe allergies or asthma, or someone in the house is immunocompromised, MERV8 is probably not enough. A MERV11 from Filtrete or Honeywell, around $8 to $12 per filter, is the legitimate upgrade. Just check your HVAC manual first. Look for max recommended MERV rating. If the manual says MERV 8 to 11, do not go higher. And if you have a 1-inch filter slot and you want hospital-grade filtration, the real fix isn't a thicker filter, it's a thicker filter slot, which means a tech, a sheet metal job, and $400, outside the scope of this video. Here's the math. Old filter, possibly costing me 8 to 12% on a $300 monthly cooling bill, so $24 to $36 a month, 4 months of cooling season, $96 to $144 a year. Wasted. New filter, $27 for a 6-pack from Home Depot. Lasts 18 months at 1 every 90 days. That's $18 a year on filters. Net savings, somewhere between $78 and $126 a year. From a $5 piece of cardboard, and 4 minutes of your time, 4 times a year. Plus, the blower motor lasts longer. Plus, the air in the house is actually cleaner, not just filtered through dust. That's the test. $5 spent, $100 a year saved. See you next time.